welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Can you believe the day is here?
Becca, it's finally here. I'm literally like, I can't believe it. I told myself it wasn't going to come.
My first note was, I can't believe this.
I did not believe this.
I was sitting watching and I was like, Grayson, can you
even believe that this is happening? And you know I'm in a bad way when I see Chris Harrison, who I'm very mad at about deleting his black square on Instagram. I have feelings about Chris Harrison. He comes on my screen and I'm crying because I feel at home and cozy. You know we're in a bad way. And The Bachelorette is back, baby.
I mean, it's bizarre. When was the last time we saw everyone? March. The season was wrapping, right?
The season was wrapping.
Starting.
The season was wrapping. That was the last time we saw anyone.
April, May.
And the only thing to quench our
7 months.
The only thing that was there to quench our thirsty Bachelor and Bachelorette mouths, where we wanted to suck at the teat of ABC, was listen to your heart.
Yeah. Oh my.
Listen to your heart. And we made that. You know what?
We didn't even see Chris Harrison.
We barely saw Chris Harrison at all. We saw him at the very beginning. You remember, you and I felt comforted, comforted amidst COVID. That was all we had.
Yeah.
But now it was just like, here we are again.
It was true. Okay. We need to talk about like some of the overarching things about this episode, though. I really want to talk about how, I wonder if you felt the same way, because we've had all these crazy spoilers and shit, right?
Yes.
Quote spoilers. We've been debating already via text whether or not these are like planted like news bits or what.
Yeah.
But what we were expecting is like, okay, this is going to be like 1, maybe 3-hour episode of Clare's whole journey. But for me, the episode, one, I was surprised that we basically just had a normal night 1 episode.
Yeah.
But it felt really like a little bit lackluster for me. I think because the whole time I was expecting it to end. Yes. Like I was waiting. I was like, okay, and where's the wrap up?
The episode felt strange, but it wasn't because of COVID.
Right. Yeah. Actually, COVID was practically irrelevant except for the whole, which we'll get into.
We'll talk about that. But that was really, the episode felt weird. Like,
yeah,
it felt, and I don't know if it was because we had our lead have immediate eyes for one person, so they're either just fixating on that production wise, or we don't see her like really getting to know the other people as much. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that was a big part of it because I was reflecting after, and I was realizing, normally what you and I will do, we'll sit there and be like, okay, like she's going to make top 3, or like there's definitely a connection between these two. But I almost didn't care because I was just like, all right, she even said right when Dale came out, like, that's my husband or whatever. So I was just kind of like, okay.
And I'm wondering then, it's like I'm watching this whole thing thinking, are these guys going to get sent home right away? What's going on? Like, right. I'm not allowing myself to get attached to anybody right off the top.
Oh, totally. Also, like, compare this to Hannah's season. You had characters like Luke P. You had characters like Jed, Tyler Cameron, all these people who you were like, oh my God, she might actually end up with them. What if that happens?
Yeah.
Like, everything was up in the air. And it's just that, like, I don't know, that anticipation that was just missing. So like
we should say this off the top quick.
Yeah.
We should say this off the top.
Sure.
First and foremost, this is a quick deviation. If this is your first time listening, welcome. We are Chatty Broads. We came in, we're just like, Becca and we walked into the podcast studio not saying a word to each other because we're not going to say anything. If you're a first time listener, welcome. This is Chatty Broads.
I'm Becca.
I'm Jess. You probably recognize Becca from The Bachelor. But, and I'm, one of her random friends. But here we are.
No, what do people call you? Batch adjacent, which I love.
Batch adjacent. I appreciate that. But we do things a little different here. We like to have a little fun. We get a little weird,
Love
so
this
welcome.
We don't only talk about The Bachelor too, so please tune into our other episodes.
Yes, we have some great ones coming up.
Yeah, we actually have a hilarious episode coming out later
on Friday
this week that you will not want to miss.
Becca and I couldn't breathe the entire recording of it because of our guests.
It was, yeah.
Maybe one of the funniest up. Yeah, I don't.
We coming for Craig?
I don't know. Sorry,
Anyway.
Craig. Anyways, okay, so Becca and I at Chatty Broads attempt to always be spoiler free. That is always the goal. We have been pretty successful for the past couple seasons.
I mean,
for the
Hannah's
most part.
season, it was kind of hard with Jed because that really like came out.
It
on
came
all
out.
platforms.
It came out.
Like that kind of thing.
And we've had a similar situation now with Clare's season. So if you literally know nothing about what, fucking E is posting about, Lauren Zima's posting about, if you don't know anything about that, maybe turn this off now. Please don't, because we'd love to hear if you hear it. But if you literally know nothing, which I think we're all going to find out about in like the next week.
Well,
I
was going to say, I think maybe we all do know nothing. So
that's true.
Because this is the thing. The stuff that's come out in the news with, like you said, Ian, Lauren Zima, we're not even sure if that's true anymore.
Yeah, we don't know. And to be completely frank, Reality Steve, I have no idea if he is posting, like if he's been posting spoilers about it, if he knows more.
Yeah, I don't know
at all
either.
Because I haven't been checking. I'm too freaked out to like.
So maybe we should just
now.
I mean, I just want to give a little once over about what we've heard in the news. So if you really don't want to hear that, skip ahead a minute or two.
But we're going to be talking about it throughout this episode. It's I feel like it's impossible not to.
I feel like it's not a spoiler. I mean, you can judge for yourself, but at this point, I don't feel like it's like a spoiler with how production mapped out this first episode. And we don't even know if this is going to happen. So
yes, and like we said, I have a feeling it's not going to happen the way we think.
I don't think so
I
either.
think they've been fucking feeding us lies.
Okay, so here's what happened.
I think they've been feeding us lies.
First things first, Claire gets cast. We saw that in the beginning of the episode. But basically the timeline of what sort of happened in the news is like Claire got cast. They filmed at La Quinta. We started hearing there was like insiders. I'm doing air quotes. Like Claire has been really difficult for production and they like don't want to do this anymore. And she's threatening to quit and like won't go on with the show. Mm-hmm. And then we heard that like she quit 12 days in and decided to be with Dale. Mm-hmm. And that then they had to bring in a new bachelorette and production was scrambling, trying to find someone to fill her shoes.
So dramatic.
And then Tayshia was crowned bachelorette and then she left for La Quinta. Then we hear back from her like 5 weeks later. And is there any other like bits? Is there anything else big?
That's pretty much.
Oh, well, so when we heard that Claire was like done or whatever, we saw Hannah Ann at La Quinta. Paparazzi shots.
Becca Kufrin. Wells.
Wells. Sydney. Ashley and Jared. Like there was all these random people.
So
Tayshia.
We didn't know what was going on. There's
although
obviously
Joe was there. No, I guess Joe wasn't seen there. Because now Tayshia and Hannah Ann and Joe have a podcast also. So then people have been like,
or we've been we had heard from one broad who we thought had a great idea that maybe
what if they've just been
Joe,
recording?
Tayshia and Hannah Ann, we're out there maybe doing
on
an
the
episode
field.
of for promo for clickbait, their podcast. So all of this to say, we have news sources, like big sources, like every single news source, People. Like everyone is talking about the fact that Tayshia is actually the bachelorette that we're going to get.
2 months ago, August.
Right. And when there are interviews with Chris Harrison in the last week, he is getting interviewed and the interviewers are asking him about Tayshia and he's kind of avoiding the question. And then all of a sudden, Becca and I are thinking, is this whole thing, did it get blown out of proportion because people spotted some other people there and then they allowed this whole Tayshia being bachelorette thing
to run?
Right. To run because here we are in quarantine and let's let everyone's minds go crazy.
And maybe people weren't super hyped up about Clare as the bachelorette, so they're
trying to spice it up. And what if that's not what we're gonna see?
I don't know. And what's also weird is I think we noted this on the last episode that all of the promos have been for Clare. Like, we haven't seen any ABC branded content for Tayshia.
So
like, none.
strange.
So it was like, it's almost like a fake news type thing where all of a sudden they're like, they're like, what are you talking about? We never announced Tayshia as the Bachelorette. And we're like, what?
And Beck and I were, you know, as are so many people, thinking, okay, is it because, you know, there's a large portion of the population that doesn't tap into Bachelor news, that doesn't listen to Bachelor podcasts. Sure. But at a certain point, when interviewers on all platforms, when they interview anyone involving The Bachelor, are asking about Tayshia, you kind of go, okay, this seems to be common news, even for people who aren't like huge Bachelor and Bachelorette consumers, other than like your, you know, once a week watch. So the whole thing's very confusing. And then from the energy of this episode, I'm like, where are we going? Where are you taking us? What journey is this?
I will say this. It is going to be a fucking disappointment. Well, maybe not. But I'm like, what if they really were just clickbaiting us and it's going to be 10 episodes of Clare's season? Like,
it's going to be, you know, so far I'm very much enjoying Clare as the Bachelorette. Oh, yeah. I think she's fantastic, but I was very looking forward to Tayshia. And I think that the Bachelorette really shot themselves in the foot, if especially during this whole push for diversity, where the masses are screaming, get like, you know, please, you need to become more diverse. People are signing all these petitions. And then the talk of Tayshia comes out and so many people are excited. And then you're like, actually, that was clickbait. That would feel
I don't think
like a
so,
bad move.
Because also she was literally gone and off social media with her phone off for 5 weeks. Possibly a little more. Tayshia was.
It was that. I don't think it was that long.
It was. I'll go double check, but it was a long time. It was a long time, and just with how all over the place with social media and stuff they've been as producers, not enforcing certain things. Like, that's a long time for her to have a leave of absence and like people not being able to contact her.
It feels like the Wild West out here, is what we're saying.
It definitely does.
It feels like the Wild West. It's like production does. This is it feels like a whole new world for production as well.
Yeah. But also, did Tayshia ever comment on anything? I feel like she didn't. Like, she didn't.
No, Tayshia's never said anything. The only little Easter eggs we've had is when someone posted and said, like, Tayshia as new Bachelorette, blah, blah, blah. And then Clare liked it. Mm-hmm. But then I think she unliked it.
Interesting. Okay, well, she didn't post from July 30th to September 12th. She did post an ad on August 4th, but I specifically remember that she had been offline for the 4 days before. Like, I think someone else posted the ad for her. She had a contract, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so July 30th to about September 12th.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So let's say a solid 4 weeks. I mean, at least 5. It seemed like 5. So. And like I said, it's definitely possible to film her season in 5 weeks since they weren't traveling.
That's true. It's possible. It's possible.
Or maybe they started with a smaller group of men.
Yeah.
Like 20 guys. I don't know. But anyway, but I just have to say, like, the back half of I don't know if you're feeling the same way. I was literally struggling to stay awake the last half of the episode towards the rose ceremony stuff. Not because of like Clare, but it was just the energy. It took there's a little life of life taken out of my sails.
The energy felt low.
Wind taken out.
But I have a feeling that next episode we're about to get smacked in the face.
I have a lot of hope
because next episode we're going to be getting dates, and there seems to be a lot of drama.
A coup.
Yes, indeed. So
happens at some point.
Should we get into the episode?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. So, first of all, I just could not believe that again that we were doing this. I was writing that on the top too, and we see in the intro clip so many things that are like, oh my God, what's going on? We see Clare like screaming, yelling, sick, sick. And then a guy saying, I expected more from the oldest Bachelorette.
Which we kept hearing again and again.
I was pausing, and then voice comparing. And it sounds like Dale. And it looks like Dale.
Shut the fuck up.
It sounds just like Dale. The looks, I was like, I think it is, but it was brief. The voice sounds just like Dale.
That doesn't make any sense.
I have some theories.
I'm in disbelief.
I have some theories. Okay.
Okay.
But we'll get into it.
Okay.
Okay.
It also immediately sets the precedent for Dale. Like almost right out the gate. They're like, and they had a special love story.
Right out the gate. You're also seeing them in bed together over and over and over again.
Definitely like, yeah, real, like they definitely had sex.
They definitely had sex. So
we know.
We know. Come on. Okay, so here we are where Chris Harrison comes to us from La Quinta, and I'm just like, this feels like home sweet home for me because I've been to that spot numerous times. Nice. And I'm just like, my childhood. Bitch. You know, my parents, they were rich for about a year. It all came crashing down.
That was a good year.
We spent all that money. Anyways, so then we have the background of pre-filming, which was so interesting.
Okay, yeah, this was something that I remember Game of Roses was debating whether or not they were going to address the pandemic. And that was really interesting to me, that almost immediately he was like, due to this pandemic. And It was like, oh shit.
They broke that fourth wall big time.
Yeah, he was talking about coronavirus.
They weren't trying to keep us in a fantasy that like this is not happening.
No,
right
they
now.
Really explained everything.
Mm-hmm, which I appreciated.
Me too. I thought it was also just cool to like see how they were doing stuff.
It's time stamped in history now. You know, this is going to be a season that you look back on, you know, however long this show continues to go on.
My grandchildren. Remember Clare's season?
We were all very confused. They made us wait for 6 months. But it is kind of trippy to think about it being now time stamped in history.
It is crazy.
But you know, I was already in tears. I was crying when you saw Claire get that call.
Oh,
from Chris, because, and I felt this through the whole episode, and I wrote down later, I'm like, has there been a lead that you've seen want it more? It felt like,
or like appreciate it, you know, like.
Yes. Or or when I say want it more, I don't mean like, I think there's so many people who like so excited, want this. But when she was standing outside of the limo, waiting for the limos to come with Chris Harrison, she was like this woman was like, I am finding my husband. This is it.
I remember that Pete had that exact same energy about him as well. No, I think you're so right.
But it was that mature, like the difference of the maturity energy. Like Pete was like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, like, I'm going to find my woman and maybe 15 others.
Well, yeah.
Claire was like, I'm doing this for my dad. Like it felt very...
I was also telling Gray, I was just like, imagine that would be like 5 years from now. If like something happened to you and they asked me to be the Bachelorette, like that's wild. Like as just on a human level, what a curveball to like 6 or 7 years after your season to be like, hey, you want to be the Bachelorette? It's like, that is just crazy.
Wild. And Gray better trust and believe that if he does not mind his P's and Q's, that could happen to you.
Wow, thanks. A lot of faith in me. I appreciate that.
An endless amount of faith.
I mean, Claire went on Winter Game.
Well, when we saw the montage, I was like,
four different Bachelor things, kind of like Nick.
That's what I wrote. I was like, I didn't realize how similar her and Nick Viall's paths are. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why he has an emotional connection to her. I feel like he was so excited for her to be the Bachelorette and was really disappointed when he found out that it maybe wasn't her the whole season.
Yeah. And he was excited, wasn't he?
He was really hyped about it. Like, I think maybe they have a symbiosis together. They've done many versions of this show.
Yeah, it was crazy to watch back. Oh my gosh, to watch back the stuff with her and Juan Pablo. I mean, that was
shocking. So cringy.
Did you know she came out with a pregnant belly?
I did, because I did watch Juan Pablo's season. Okay. I did. It was a move. She was coming out serious. Listen, she was coming out serious from the gate. From episode 1 that she was on this show. Well, then COVID hits. And yes. Becca, I don't want to, obviously, here we are. We're all in this situation. COVID, it's a horrific thing, obviously. But I have to be real with you. When all of a sudden the dramatic music rose and we see Claire looking out the window, and it's like labeled sheltering at home with like a timestamp. I was just starting to laugh because I was just like, first of all, there's a camera inside the house.
Yes.
So there's human interaction happening, and it was just so dramatic. And I remember when we all got the shelter at home order, and it felt like that. And I had many moments staring at the window, looking at my local post lady who was coming by, and I was just like, hello. Do you feel the heat of my body?
It's me. Oh man.
But yeah, then we saw her going to take cookies to visit her mom who has Alzheimer's, which was really emotional. And yeah, I thought that it was so interesting to see all that backstory. And then she gets La Quinta. She gets to go to La Quinta. She finds out the Bachelorette is indeed happening. And
Beautiful.
We see her waiting for her COVID test to come back in quarantine. And then, of course, they open the door and Chris and her are standing there unmasked, and he's telling her the news.
This was one of the funniest things to me throughout the whole episode was the men and her being like this whole, like Chris himself comes and he's like, you are negative. And she's like, negative. It was just bizarre. We also didn't find out, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but whether any of the guys tested positive.
Yeah, they
which
didn't.
I'm like, don't you think just one?
Serve us some of the tea. And I'm 99.9% sure I heard at least one, if not two, were sent home. Because
Really?
Yeah, there was one guy for sure who tested positive.
No way.
And he posted about it and was like, yeah, I am not, whatever.
Wow, that would fucking suck.
Can you imagine? You're like, I finally did it. This has been, I think that's why there was that whole like, you are negative, because it's like, oh, thank God I can actually participate in this. I've been alone without people, so I'm already excited to see human beings. And now I get to actually be on this show.
I mean, I suppose if Claire was positive, they would just like wait it out till she got a negative test. But for the guys,
but that would have been like an extra than 14 days filming wise.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it would have blown.
I mean, I'm sure before she went, they were like, listen, do not fuck this up. Do not see a goddamn soul. Do not go to the grocery store. Sanitize everything. Like, you can't get COVID.
I would be in a bubble in my home.
Oh, yeah. I would have already booked a suite at La Quinta and would have stayed there for the 2 weeks leading up to filming.
Very smart. Very
Thank
smart.
you.
Because you don't want to get that gas station COVID on the way to La Quinta. There are so many.
It looked like she was driving herself.
It looked like she was driving, but that doesn't mean she's got to go stop off and go pee. I'm assuming she doesn't have. Maybe she's got one of those jars in her car situations.
Sacramento to Palm Springs is a long way.
That's a long drive, but to make sure that I didn't get the coronavirus, I would 100%.
Gasoline tanks in the back of your car to just fill it up.
Yeah, I'd be peeing into bags. My dogs would also be having to pee into bags since she brought both of them.
Diapers. Put diapers on them.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she just threw on a pair of Depends.
Like that one woman, the astronaut. Remember?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
I think she like murdered somebody and then she drove through the night and she threw a diaper on so that she wouldn't pee her pants while she was trying to escape the law. Similar
An
energy.
astronaut?
I think she was or she had been an astronaut. Maybe I'm mixing
Fact
stories.
checkers are quaking. I do
They're
not
like,
know
this
that
bitch is mixing 5 stories together.
I think maybe like, I'm sort of thinking of the cop killer.
Maybe this was all a dream for me. Maybe I did it. And I like to fancy myself an astronaut.
I don't know. But
she made it and she did not test positive. And we see then all the men literally like they're so excited that they are going to be part of this. And we should take a quick pause, but I'm very excited to talk about the level of drama that these men getting a COVID test, you'd think they were having to sever an arm.
Yes. I couldn't have said it better. Maybe giving away their firstborn child. Like
getting a root canal without any medication.
Before we dive into that,
broads, if you've listened to us for a while, then you know when it comes to shoes, there's only one brand that checks all the boxes: stylish, sustainable, and so comfortable. It almost feels like you're wearing slippers. And of course, I'm talking about ROTHY'S, the shoe I find myself reaching for pretty much every day. I'm actually not wearing my ROTHY'S right now, and I feel a little out of whack. I don't feel comfortable. I don't like it. I don't like what's going on. I'm probably going to leave this and go change mid-episode.
Okay.
Just so you know.
I'll take over.
Okay, sounds good. But listen, there are apparently a lot of other people because, for instance, their bestseller, The Point in Black, has over 3,000 perfect reviews online. 3,000. But if you already have that shoe like I do in multiple colors, then be sure to check out their newest collection, which includes bags, masks, and their first ever adjustable sneaker, which is adorable.
Well, you all know sustainability is a focus for my family, which is why I do love ROTHY'S so much. They make their own fabric out of single-use bottles that they pull from landfills, and all of their shoes are 100% machine washable, so you'll get a lot more wear out of every pair for you and your kids. And we can't skip over the fact that they're so cute.
So cute.
The style with the bows.
Can you believe?
They're really, really cute.
When that style came out, it's fairly new. And I was like, well, there goes my bank account.
Classic styles in a ton of rotating colors, prints, and patterns, and it's not surprising. Vogue recently dubbed them a personal obsession.
And oh my God, broads, like I said, ROTHY'S now makes bags, and they are so, so cute. I already know and love the quality of ROTHY'S products because I love their shoes so much. So I hope their bags wouldn't disappoint. And let me say, they are perfection. I snagged their overnight tote, which is perfect for trips, to see my family, or little staycations. And like their shoes, the bags are completely sustainable and machine washable. Yes, like hello, shoes and bags that are machine washable for my messy mom mode self. What a lifesaver.
Check out all the amazing shoes and bags available right now at rothys.com/chatty. That's rothys.com, rothys.com/chatty. Style and sustainability make to create your style. I tried to say that fast and I just botched it. Style and sustainability meet to create your new favorites. Head to rothys.com/chatty today.
Well, maybe you've been your own boss for years, or maybe the recent job climate has forced you to branch out and start that business you've always wanted to. We've seen so many business broads popping up. We love to see it. Either way, Becca and I know from experience that running a company is no small feat. Your days are filled with enough tasks to last a lifetime. The last thing anyone needs to waste time doing is standing in line at the post office. This also applies whether you run a business or not. Of course, going to the post office is not on top of anyone's list, I think, especially during the current situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still want to keep in contact with my family through letters because I think that's really special. So,
God,
like you
so
said,
sweet.
business aside, there's lots of little things to do. Well, lucky for you and us, Stamps.com brings the post office to you. And with Stamps.com, you can literally do anything you would at the post office, but right from your home computer. You can use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send.
You can even ship with discounted UPS services up to 62% off, and that includes USPS too. UPS and USPS, 62% off, and no residential surcharges. And if all that wasn't enough, you'll save even more money with discounted rates you can't even get in person at the post office, including 5 cents off every stamp. Stamps.com saves you time and money. And also, broads, last year during the holiday season, Stamps.com was my lifeline. And now, especially because of the current times, we're not going to be seeing, I'm not going to be seeing most of my family. So I'll be shipping out all these gifts around Christmas time and the holidays. Stamps.com. It's the perfect way to go.
I guess. Right now, our listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. I have one. Without any long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click the mic at the top of the homepage, and type in Chatty. That's Stamps.com. Enter code Chatty.
So, these men's.
First of all, I like the thing of them filming their own packages.
Me too.
I do wish when we actually got into the episode, we had a little bit more backstory. Normally we get like them filming their family, like that kind of thing.
I did miss like having a background on any of the guys.
We got pretty much none.
We just got to know them via their quarantine mode.
We saw Dale's mom, it seemed like. A relative?
Yeah, it was a relative of his.
Briefly helping him pack. But yeah, we didn't get really introduced to anyone.
We didn't see anybody. We didn't know what they did for a living or anything for the most part. But then again, there's that part of me that's thinking, if the rumors that they've been feeding us and announced are true about Tayshia, we've heard that maybe some of the guys are going to get brought back that initially were rejected for Clare's season. So you wonder if
maybe they don't want us to get invested.
They don't want us to get invested with certain guys, but you think that maybe they'd give us packages of the guys that then we're going to be with Tayshia. It was strange.
I don't really know, but that was odd. But I did like them filming their own stuff.
They're horrified about getting the absolutely horrified about getting the COVID test.
Yes.
The ominous music and them slammed their bodies up against the wall. Talking about a pipe cleaner getting shoved up your nose. I was
into your brain.
Into your brain. I'm like, try having a watermelon shooting out of your vagina.
Yeah.
And then we can have a conversation.
Pussies. Yeah. Also, okay, I will say this. No, that was still in June. I heard in the beginning that the COVID tests were way more gnarly than they are now. Like in the beginning, they really thought they did have to get up there into your brain. Okay. And now they're very just simple.
Listen, I will tell you, I got one of the brain tests.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a COVID test early on. And it is high and it's not comfortable. Like, it's not like, oh, do the other side now, please, doctor. Like, you don't want it. But the level of drama that they were just trying to make
Is it akin to like a throat swab? Where you're like, and then you're like, that sucked, but my life will go on.
Oh, the strep throat swab. When you were a kid, you would just dread going to the doctor's office.
Yeah, I know.
I'd be like, I don't have a sore throat, Mom, because I was just avoiding it. Yeah, I guess it's similar to that, but it's just a different type of feeling because it's not a nice feeling. But the music with the reactions to just like to them afterwards filming themselves, watery eyes, like coughing, just like, oh, we're doing this for you, Clare.
I'm like this is the like pinnacle of what you're willing to do for her. That's embarrassing.
I'm like, oh my God, you guys.
I had secondhand embarrassment for some of the men throughout the episode. I will say that.
I truly did as well. Well, we get little moments of meeting the guys, and Becca, I do have to tell you that the level of overjoyed I was that it seems that we, in our cast bio episode with Evan and Gray, our partners, if you're tuning in for the first time, talking about Bennet, and I think we really nailed it.
Oh, I have to go back and listen to what we said because holy shit, Bennet. I mean, he wasn't lying when he did say the thing about Harvard. He's like, that's the H word. Drop that. And people are just impressed.
It's true.
True, but what a guy. And we'll get to when his actual entrance was because
I mean, he is
pretty great.
We see him. He is shirtless outside. He is wearing aviator glasses. He's got a lot of chest hair, very 80s chest hair energy. And he's reading a book on emotional intelligence. And he's like dancing in his robe. But then we see him with a face mask on. And this is the energy I get from Bennet, is that he reminds me of a guy in a 90s movie that the mom is starting to date and the kids dread because he won't let them go on his white couches.
Oh, that I feel that 100%.
You know, and you're just praying that your mom ends up hooking up with the fun teacher from your school who you love, and yet she ends up, staying with Bennet until the very end.
Well, the other vibe I got from Bennet when he came out of the Rolls Royce was he might have more than one person trapped in his basement.
Well, let me tell you, Becca, is that in our cast bio episode, we were talking about him wearing people's skin.
Oh!
And we were correct.
I'm frightened because there have been times when we are really right about people.
I know. We've had some broads lately sending us clips from Cassie and Colton's season.
We were analyzing
it was alarming.
Cassie's relationship and
yeah.
We literally, I'm not going to make light of it, but we literally specifically said he seems like someone who will blow up your phone and text you repeatedly after your guys' breakup and like won't let it go and will stalk your family. That's what we said.
We literally
so
said
I
that.
pray that I'm wrong about Bennet.
I also pray that we're completely off. Also sending love to Cassie right now. I don't know what's currently happening in that situation.
Me neither.
I think that the date was delayed.
Oh, the court date.
The court date was delayed, so I think they extended. Anyways, sending love to the Randolph family because it's horrible.
Still haven't heard from Colton.
still haven't heard. I don't think.
Do we have
so.
a day count on his silence?
We should get that going. But I also hope that we're very off about Bennet
because yikes. But I love him. I love the whole vibe. You know, it's very fun.
I really hope that he stays for a while because he just has like his smile. It looks like all of his teeth are caps. I have a bet going. They're all like perfect, and
I'm sure they're all veneers.
They have to be veneers. We meet Ivan. He's playing chess by himself. Mm-hmm. We meet Yosef. That's when we find out that he has a daughter. He is ironing. Shirtless.
So when Yosef came out with the thing about the daughter, immediately I was like, okay, he's playing the daughter card.
Yeah, correct.
And I immediately was like, I think I already saw at this point when I'm seeing him talk about his daughter. I'm like, I think I might have already seen clips of him being like agitated and getting in the middle of stuff. But now that he's pulling the whole like, I love my daughter more than anything, I'm like, I don't trust you, motherfucker.
No, I don't. Even though I will say he later on in the night, I was just like, oh, I'm not attracted to you. But when his face was first on screen, I was like,
cutie.
He's a very handsome man. Speaking of a handsome man who I have I think an unhealthy obsession with already is Easy. I'm obsessed with Easy.
You don't even know who that is.
Easy.
Sorry, guys.
Oh my goodness. He's rocking salmon jacket.
Yeah. No, he was too loud for me. He was much too like, I'm going to make commentary about everyone. I was like, okay, hold the phone. We get it. You're no chatty broad, okay?
I mean, maybe he is though. I am obsessed with him. I love his energy. When he got the COVID test and he was running around outside, he busts through a wall. Also, it says that he was a football player. He's now a sports marketing agent. And it said that he's from Newport Beach, California. And I'm like, Easy, where were you on my girls' night outs, honey? Because I just saw a bunch of people that I was just like, nope. Where was Easy?
He looks like a good time.
He looks like a good time.
I have to say, when they were doing that little montage of him being tested negative, I was thinking, how sweet. In June, that was still, for the most of the country, like kind of in the middle of the quarantine. Things were starting to open up, actually, in other states. But nevertheless, most everyone was coming off of about 3 months of being really stuck in their homes. And I was like, how fun to be able to travel to a resort, to be able to interact with all these people normal. Very fun. It was also really funny to me earlier when Claire said, like, I just love that I can kiss and hug all these men without worrying about getting COVID. And there was something hilarious about that to me.
It was so funny.
And I'm like, oh, that's the number one thing on you. I mean, I get it. It was just
I'm like, yeah, when you haven't touched anyone in a while. But it's so funny because even when she was saying that, there's this part in the back of my brain that goes, I'm no doctor, but even though everyone's getting tested, this still does not feel COVID safe to me to be running around and like touching we've obviously now been in this quarantine, this pandemic for so many months, watching it, knowing I had this moment when I was seeing the groups together, and I was like, oh my God, you're supposed to say hey, too close. I'm like, Claire, you're getting too close to all these guys.
I mean, you better get positive tests. Negative tests, not positive. They're going to be swapping spit with all everyone. Like 15 of them.
Everybody. Maybe.
Did we even figure out what the number was of how many guys there were total?
31, I believe.
That's a lot.
That's
of men's. A lot to start out with.
Well, Claire arrives, and
the art directors really outdid themselves for the Chris and Claire room.
The art directors went nuts. They also
candles, gold everywhere, tassels.
We can't travel, but we will make it beautiful here.
We want something Moroccan, French, elegant, but British with more of an Indian flair, with a touch of, Mexican drama. That felt like that's what I was like, whoa,
this is overwhelming.
Bringing the luxury of the whole world into one place. And I can only hope that's what we're going to get for the rest of the season.
Just like so over
what
the
if
top.
they do themed rooms like they're at a day camp or something, you know? Like tonight we're going to have the Egyptian experience at the Nile, and it's just like a pool with like you know, plants sticking out of it.
Can you imagine? It's just like, if you round this corner,
They have a guy at the gondola on the kiddie pool. Going around in a circle.
Oh, look,
Hop in.
we are in Italy. Look out the windows.
Some guy. Oh man.
So they're in a gondola. Someone's chucking pizza at their face. It's just like, it's too much. They could have it'd be like a small world experience, like IRL in the pool.
I love that.
Oh, I love it too.
You do remember, right? Okay, this is a piece of evidence that is solid.
Okay.
That filming did get shut down. Remember we talked about this months ago about how you guys have the friend who was booked.
Yes.
Booked to perform.
Yes. So we had a friend who was booked to perform. If you didn't hear when we talked about it in one of our episodes, I had a friend who was booked to perform and work with one of the artists that was going to come and play a song. And I will tell you this, it was a big artist.
Harry Styles.
It was Harry Styles. Actually, it was all of One Direction. They were uniting together for the first time, including
Clare's
Zayn.
season.
And also Zayn's baby was going to be present.
Wow.
Yeah, it was going to be a big thing. But it was a big artist. So it wasn't something like, you know, that it was a kind of like someone who people don't know and you shut it down and go, sorry, never mind, you're not coming. It, you know, it was a bigger deal. And he told us that he got the call from the artist that it was like, hey, it's a no-go, like a day before they were supposed to. From production, that he was supposed to, when they were supposed to go out there. So, and it was all right around the time when the rumors were flying about the whole switch from Clare to someone else. But what doesn't make sense to me, when I'm not putting two and two together, let's just say they chose that specific artist because he's one of Clare's favorites. Okay. And I'll tell you, he's one of Bachelor Nation's favorites. I've seen a lot of the Bachelor women post about this specific artist.
What? No.
I know I can't say.
Okay.
I would. I'll tell you after. Okay. But why not just let him do it with Tayshia? Why couldn't he perform with, if they're still staying at La Quinta? I don't understand then why he wouldn't be on Tayshia's date. Even if he was specifically because Clare loved him, it's not like every time we see an artist on one of these seasons perform,
the lead's a fan.
That it's, you know, obviously Pete was a fan of, you know, Victoria F's ex-boyfriend or whoever that was, the country artist last year. But I just don't understand why they would cancel that.
I can't think of a good reason. Well, I mean, maybe Tayshia just had like...
Or postpone it for like a week if Tayshia was needing to come and then they were needing to set up everything with her new guys or whatever.
But maybe Tayshia had like a list of what she wanted, so they ran with that. Like if it's like a country artist, for instance, she's like, I don't like country.
I don't want to say this confidently, but I
think Tayshia's a fan?
Pretty sure that I've seen Tayshia post about this person's music. Maybe not.
Okay.
I don't want to say it confidently.
I mean, it might have just been like a timing thing too, because I don't know. Like you got to think about.
But part of me is just like, oh, if production was completely halted because of Clare and there were no more dates and they never brought anyone out, they didn't bring other people out. I don't know.
Because I mean, Tayshia's season didn't start filming until like at least 2 or 3 weeks after.
Yeah. I would just think they would have postponed it because it wasn't like at this point artists were doing anything. It's not like he had shows elsewhere. I don't know. Food for thought.
Maybe they kept all artists out so that there wouldn't be any spoilers. Like maybe they just didn't do guest appearances.
That's actually a very good point. They'd only allow Batch Nation to come in because they're under like lock and key contract. Maybe that's why we're having the Hannah Ann's, the Wells. They don't want to use any outside people. They want to make sure that they're under lock and key with some of their Batch Nation faves who they'll ruin their lives if they spoil anything. Cut them off at the roots if they spoil anything.
It's possible.
That's a very good point.
Okay.
So
moving on.
we see Claire and Chris Harrison have their chat in the gilded room beforehand. And it was a really, really beautiful moment. I was definitely emotional when
she was revealing she came out of the abusive relationship,
which I don't think
right before The Bachelor. I didn't think she talked about that publicly either.
Yeah, I don't think that she has spoken about that.
Yeah.
And, she said, weeks before meeting Juan Pablo, and one of the reasons of going on the show was to get away from her ex. And it was just like, I mean, it was really powerful that she shared that. And then following up, when Chris Harrison said, "What would you say to that woman?" Claire saying, "I'm proud of you for trying again." And I love she talked about that she's been going through a lot of therapy. I love that she mentioned therapy. She talked about obviously her dad, which is a huge piece of her story, who passed away a while ago. And her dad had left her a DVD before he died to show, I believe, if I might be getting this wrong, but I believe it was like when she gets engaged, to show to, her future husband or whatever.
I know. I was like, what the fuck is that video?
Yeah, I believe it's I don't think it was like after you're married. If I'm remembering correctly, it was a DVD like when she's found the one to watch it with.
I know. I'm like, what is on that video?
Yeah, and she hasn't watched it because it's for them together. It's either for them together or just for the guy to watch, so that basically the guy can like see her dad.
It's like her dad's all like, "Listen, bud, I'm gonna tell you right now. My daughter is a beautiful woman." This would be my dad's.
My dad would just be like,
"Run as fast as you can."
I know. My dad makes some joke. He'd just be like, "Sorry, guy." And I'd be like, "All right, can we not
wrap it up? Wrap it up."
No, considering their relationship, it just seems like he probably just had this, I mean, can you imagine the forethought?
He made it when he was dying.
The forethought of a parent to do that, it was just so beautiful. And it was like, I held my little MB tighter watching it. And then I loved that. Then Chris Harrison said, "What would your dad say to you tonight before meeting these guys?" And Claire said, he'd say, "I'm proud of you for just showing up."
Beautiful.
So beautiful. Can't handle it.
Well, and there we go then into the intros with all of these embarrassing ass men. We have this beautiful moment, the beautiful Claire, and like, okay, the duds. Dud City. I have to say, I thought that a lot of the guys were so sexy with the cast list, and then when they were actually coming out of the limo, maybe I had high expectations, but I was like,
you know what? I don't mean to complain, but I felt similar. I don't mean to be complainy, but some of those pictures were so hot.
Striking.
Of the men. Now, don't get me wrong. I think I would say there's 5 or 6 that I'm just like, wow, wow, wow.
I'd say there's like 3 that I feel wow about. There's like 5 or 6 where I'm like, okay, you can make it to next week.
But I was a little bit
I'm not even talking about the looks. It was like a lot of them just had like weird personalities.
Yeah.
Or like awkward.
The energy. That's what I wrote on so many of them. It was like the energy feels off.
Okay.
But yes, go ahead.
We're probably gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
Claire's really fucking sexy. Like she's really, really sexy.
She has like the most sensual energy ever. She is captivating. And if you want me to tell you that I didn't fall in love with Claire in many ways during this, you would be wrong. I was feeling things.
Absolutely. I'm 100% with you. We are on the same page.
If I was at a bar,
so like attractive in the sense that you're like attracted to her.
If we're in a bar setting and I'm getting a drink and Claire comes up and like stands next to me and starts talking to me, like, I am flustered,
stuttering.
I'm red. I'm all blotchy and I'm like saying something stupid because she locks eye contact, big smile, laughs at everything you say, but then like comes back with stuff quickly. Yes. And I'm just like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, not to mention, we keep talking about how she's 40 years old. She is a 40-year-old dime from head to toe. She might be like one of this is what I was staring at my laptop screen thinking. She might be one of like the hottest bachelorettes in history.
Agreed.
So like we can throw around this whole oldest bachelorette thing, but she is like, really, seriously, probably one of the hottest bachelorettes
Listen,
ever.
honey, as a 32-year-old woman, I am telling you that 40 is the new 20. Okay? Or 21.
Claire's one of those people. She's going to be like that, like the rest of her life. You know,
It's an energy. It's an energy thing. When you feel
Youth
young,
is a mentality.
it is a mentality, bitch.
Youth
Still
is a
in
state
my
of
brain.
mind.
In my brain, I am still a 17-year-old immature queen, and I live and I will continue to be that until I'm 90 years old.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Get it.
My grandchildren
Maybe
will
one
be
day you and I
embarrassed.
can glow up to Claire's status because we're not there right now, honey. We are not there. Give me another 15. Give you another 8.
I'm praying. I'm praying.
Holding on.
that I can get some Claire energy in my life.
So that being said, that might give some reason for the awkwardness.
The awkwardness. Yes, they were a little maybe thrown off.
I'll give them that.
My other thought was, at this point, we all had been fully like quarantined for a month and a half. And so I remember the first human that I saw one of my very, very best friends. Okay. She had been fully quarantined. I had been fully quarantined. We united together. She was one of those ones who lived alone and had been living alone, completely alone for like a month and a half. I saw her. I was awkward. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you're my best friend. Why am I awkward right now?
Totally.
Like, why am I stuttering talking to you? I feel like this conversation, the ebb and flow is weird. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if maybe they're going to like warm up. But
yeah, that makes sense. Not to mention you're quarantined in your hotel room for like 3 days leading up to that.
I would be so in my head.
And I can only imagine like that normally you'd talk to producers and stuff in that time. And since they didn't get their test results back yet, they're pretty much literally alone. I bet they left the food outside the door and like knocked and told them to wait 10 seconds until someone, to open the door to get their food. Like that kind of thing.
Probably.
Now, I am curious about this and we didn't get answers. Will they all be like living in some giant suite they're going to put bunk beds in? Or will they have their own rooms?
Interesting.
I couldn't stop thinking about this and we don't seem to find out in the episode. Because then it makes you wonder with Dale in the room, it's like, is this a fantasy suite or did she just go back to his room after a date?
I mean,
know what I'm saying?
Considering that they're not leaving the hotel, maybe they did give the guys their own room so that people wouldn't kill each other because you're going to be stuck.
But that's part of what brings
I know. You'd think the producers
that's what brings the heat of the show.
In their evil hands, they'd want to like make that super spicy.
Well, because so when we were on Ari's season, when we were in France, we stayed on this big boat. It was like a mini cruise ship.
Oh, really?
It was great. It was the best place we stayed at by far.
How fun.
But we each got our own cabin, and that
Really?
was they said the production said that was like the first time in years that everyone had gotten their own.
Did you
room.
walk into your own room, close the door, and cry with joy to finally be alone?
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would weep.
My own shower. I mean, literally, we were. There was like a big bathroom in the Bachelor Mansion, and it would be like. Sometimes there would be like 3 or 4 girls, like 2 in the shower, 1 in the like we're just all trying to get ready as fast as we can. So it's just like you get to spread out all your stuff.
I wish that The Bachelor had a version of the show called like Bachelor After Dark, where we saw
That's
cameras
so fun.
with like the girls unwinding after the rose ceremonies, getting ready, the talk behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so much footage.
There's
of that.
so much footage,
silliness.
Right? You could
and,
have
like,
at least an hour show, and you'd get like a lot of great tea.
Yeah, like one of the girls brought like fake butt pads and like fake boob pads, and so yeah, there was like ridiculous, like we were making there. I mean, the cameras were always following us around, so there's definitely footage of like just craziness, pandemonium going on.
I feel like you'd fall in love. You'd fall in love with the people more too when seeing them like
real
silly and having fun and not just being like, I love you so much.
Yeah, and I've said it before, but the best example of that was like Lauren, when everyone was like came off of our season, was like, oh, she's so boring. I was like, no, she really isn't.
Yeah, you're like, no,
you just didn't see. You just don't see aspects of people's personalities.
I want it. Bachelor After Dark.
Yeah,
something like that.
You didn't want to see my personality though. I was the one like screaming at the handler, like, I'm not getting out of bed.
By the way, I like that they call them handlers. It makes me laugh. Like you're a wild animal and they're just trying to like, keep you at bay.
Did you know that that's like the industry term?
Yes, I can't believe it.
I didn't know that.
This is the crazy talent. They're out of control. We call them handlers because they have to deal with all of their shit. And it's literally
what a job.
I mean, oh yeah, seriously. I mean, if you have lovely people, that's fine. But can you imagine some of the Hollywood folk out there who some of these handlers have to deal with?
I just can't imagine doing it on The Bachelor.
I'll just tell you behind the scenes sometimes with some of your faves doing wardrobe and the way that they treat people like absolute shit. I can't imagine having to like be following them around dealing with them, and I would only have to deal with them for like 2 hours, and I was like literally dunking myself in any sort of like crystal holy water and anything to cleanse myself from their horrific energy.
Well, that's the thing. I love the handlers. I really do. I'm still friends with a couple of them. But yeah, I was in, they come with the bearer of the worst news. Like you have to do pickups. So can you get in your gown from night one and try to get your hair and your makeup done? Oof. And it's like, 11 p.m.
Oof.
Yeah. Oof. And you're just like, no.
As a viewer, we don't think about this often because it's like thinking about basically being in my jammies, about to go to bed, and then my friend calling me and being like, I need you to come to this club right now. Yeah. I know it's midnight, but you have to come right now. And not having a choice, getting out of bed, putting on a full face of makeup and throwing an outfit on. I would be so angry. Also, psychologically, I would be exhausted.
Yeah, and then when you get there, they tell you like, hey, remember your mom's birthday party 2 weeks ago? How were you feeling when your Uncle Gary got there around like 2 p.m.? And can you talk in the perspective like Uncle Gary just got there? So you're like, Uncle Gary just got here and boy, am I excited. He is the life of the party. Like that's what it's like.
And then if you're asking me about people that I don't love necessarily, if I'd be in that situation, they'd be like, hey, that one friend of the friend who like can kind of agitate you? Mm-hmm. Or, well, they've been doing that lately. And I heard actually that they were saying this about you. Like, do you feel like I would be so snippy and I would be so reactive?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wowzers.
Yep.
You don't think about it.
Okay. So men getting out of their intros.
Out. We can talk about some of the key ones because we met a lot that you literally had a 2-second interaction with. The limo entrances were very quick.
Yes.
It was quick.
Should we take a quick pause before we get into each of the guys?
Oh my gosh, yes. Before we get into the guys, let's take a quick pause. Okay, broads, I have never been more invested in, for the lack of a better term, vibe of my house than I have been for the past 6 months. Yes, it feels very LA, the vibe of my home, but for good reason. My house is now, the place my family and I can relax and unwind. Also an office for both myself and my husband, a gym, a school for my daughter, an abode for my pups. That's asking a lot, but thankfully, with the help of Article, I have been able to thoroughly and thoughtfully curate each little corner of my house to be everything I need it to be.
I love Article. All of their pieces are seriously perfect. Furniture shopping has never been an easy task. I mean, come on. Pieces are often back ordered for months. It's hard to find a collective aesthetic across so many stores and style options. And don't even get me started on how expensive it can be. Well, Article makes furniture shopping easier than ever. First of all in-stock items are delivered in 2 weeks or less, with free shipping on orders over $999, so already it's leaps and bounds ahead of traditional shopping. And in regards to finding your dream aesthetic, Article makes it easy on you by focusing solely on a handful of aesthetics like modern, mid-century, and Scandinavian, all very popular right now, so everything pretty much goes perfectly together.
It's great if you don't have that designer eye, they do it for you. And the part everyone can appreciate, their prices are unbeatable. Because Article cuts out the middleman and sells directly to you, they're able to pass on savings of up to 30% to their customers. Redoing areas of my home using Article has been an absolute dreamy process, and I finally have pieces that I love that are also really good quality too, by the way. Broads, you got to check out the website. Some of my favorite pieces ever in my home are from Article. Couches, dining room tables, all drool worthy. Check out this website right now.
Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Go to article.com/chatty and this discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/chatty, and you will get $50 off your purchase of $100 or more.
So, broads, the cutest thing has happened recently. My daughter Ember is 4, and she has out of nowhere taken this really huge interest in cooking, which is so sweet. Queen. Every night at dinner, Chef Ember, as she's demanding that I call her these days. She'll pull up a chair. She wants to be in on all the cooking action from start to finish. And because we use HelloFresh around our house, it's so great because we get to make and learn a variety of recipes together because I'm no expert. So we're both learning together through HelloFresh. It's been also an awesome activity for our whole family to take part in.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait until my kids are old enough to cook with me.
It's so sweet.
Ruth right now does cooking, but she just fills up pots with water and then puts like cat food and flower petals and stirs it around and serves it to me.
It sounds
I
delicious.
prefer HelloFresh personally. If you aren't familiar with it, here's the deal. It's America's number one meal kit. They deliver fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes right to your door. And with HelloFresh, cooking is easy, fun, and affordable. The ingredients are pre-portioned so you'll never overbuy, makes the process super sustainable in terms of food waste, and you get to branch out and try cooking with ingredients you might not usually keep on hand.
I think that's been the most fun for us is trying things that we wouldn't normally try. Ember's favorite recipe we cooked together recently were these barbecue sloppy joes. I mean, sloppy joes are a surefire favorite for the kids. I don't know. Well, it's just the best. Also, the shrimp paella. I can't get over that from Home Chef. She had so much fun helping out, and because the meals are prepackaged and pre-portioned, I gladly let her do it. HelloFresh also has plans for everyone, including kid-friendly menus, veggie options, and so many more. I'm always so excited to see what kind of delicious things are in our deliveries.
Go to hellofresh.com/80chatty and use code 80chatty to get a total of $80 off across 5 boxes, including free shipping on your first box. Again, that's hellofresh.com/80chatty and use code 80chatty.
All right, so some of the men, some of the more standout entrances. I didn't feel like we had tons of standout entrances.
No,
I wasn't shook.
It's the two, I really liked the guy actually with the flip-flops. I thought that was a really cute idea. He brought flip-flops for her, like in case your feet get tired with the high heels.
That was cute. The Mike, other, I think. Yes, Mike.
Okay. The other two were fun to contrast, of course, were the station wagon and the Rolls Royce thing.
Yes.
Now, the guy in the station wagon, to me, don't know if you felt this, had Luke P vibes.
Oh, you know what's so funny? He's by the way, Tyler C. That's his name.
Yes.
He's the new Tyler C.
Yes, that's right.
I said he's giving me Garrett P vibes. Which is funny because they're nemesis, but yet they have a very similar energy. Luke P and Garrett P.
Interesting. We shall see how that plays out.
Well, he's gone.
That's true. I forgot. He was I didn't put the 2 and 2 together. He was the one that they chose Yosef over him.
Yes, which I loved the station wagon entrance.
Yeah, it was a really fun idea.
And when he first rolled up, I was kind of like,
I love it, but then you're also like, okay, is this really all of your belongings?
but wait, quick question though, is this a for real situation?
Because I'm 40 and I have an established career.
I don't know if you saw the car that I came in, but I didn't have everything tied to my roof. That's just the quick question here. Okay. But I did. He's a lawyer though. So I'm imagining, but when he came out with his accent and he's a lawyer and I was a little bit like, are we going to have like a Matthew McConaughey situation? And I'm like, am I going to love him?
That's what Grace said. He said he sounds exactly like Matthew McConaughey.
Yes. And so there was a part of me that was like,
you're like, well, he's gone, so you won't be seeing it again. I'm like, right.
I was like,
totally knew that.
Tyler C, am I gonna love you? But then the rest of the episode, it was a hard pass for me. Garrett P energy, Luke P energy all day. And then yes, of course, Bennet shows up in a Rolls Royce and is wearing a fucking
scarf.
Gentleman's white scarf. Like Princess Diaries is quaking.
That was hilarious. When I can't remember who your favorite guy, I think, was making the commentary. Easy,
yeah.
Was making commentary being like, we got 007 over here.
He had the martini.
Okay, kind of incredible.
I mean, it was definitely a thing.
A vibe. He was ready to like intimidate out all the other fools.
But the energy, and he says, I thought coming from New York to Palm Springs, the only way to come is true Hollywood fashion. I
It's hilarious.
Bennet is a guy who likes jazz way too much. I feel like he calls you my dear in a sexy way too much. Like, this is just, but I'm obsessed. I'm afraid, but I'm obsessed.
Yep, I feel that.
He watches Mad Men on loop, and he fancies himself the John Draper character 100%.
Yes, absolutely he does. There was a couple that I will say were in poor taste for me.
Please.
Maybe the straight jacket.
Hi.
What?
Jay? I'm looking into the camera right now, Jay.
Look at me, Jay.
Jay, listen. I am a bipolar queen. Okay? I like to laugh at myself. The podcast, I mean, we just like to talk shit about ourselves. You can make any sort of joke about my, mental health, and I'll laugh. I laugh it off.
Sure.
But for the rest of the community, a straight jacket, and by the way, keeping it on the whole time. He did the rose ceremony in the straight jacket.
Right, so not only is it kind of like undermining the thing, like, look, I'm the first to be like, all right, it's a joke. Like, let's not take it too seriously.
As a person with mental health, with my mental health disorder, I'm like, right, I laugh at it. I'm like, whatever.
But it wasn't that funny. And then also it was just creepy.
It was very creepy. Yeah, if you're going to do something kind of offensive, you better do it funny, or else it's just not going to land. And he kept it on the whole night. And he made, and the comment he made too, he said he's been having to wait so long that he's gone crazy. And I'm like, well, this is...
in poor taste.
It's in poor taste.
Now, which was worse, though? Would you rather be the guy that comes out with the straight jacket, or would you rather be the guy that comes out with the ring that's actually a little mooning figurine that farts when you open the ring box? Because I'm not going to lie, I'll take straight jacket guy over that any day. It was neither funny nor amusing to me. I was horrified.
I could not believe that was not made more focus of. Like, it was a quick moment that if you would have turned your back for 10 seconds, you would have missed the farting, mooning proposal ring. I mean,
he thought it was hilarious.
It was so funny. And I have to give Claire so much credit for not, like, freaking out. Like, the fact that she laughed and kind of, let him just do his thing. I was like, wow, this is impressive.
I would be panicking. I would be like, no, where the fuck are the producers? Come to an interview right now. Who the fuck are these men?
I would have stopped and been like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to let you know right now, our humor is not on track, and humor is very important to me in a relationship. So I'm just going to send you home right now. I would have sent him home in the moment.
That would have been a fucking move.
I don't know.
You would have looked like the bitch of all bitches, but I would have been in your corner.
I would have said it nicely. I would have been like, hey, you know what? I think you're looking for a different type of woman. I'm not like fart ring humor type person. So maybe you could propose to Craig Conant, but like, it's just not for me.
Yeah, and I would be 100% behind you, honey.
Thank you.
I would be like, send his ass home. His asses.
Send his asses home. Oh my God. I'm trying to think of a few of the cuties. Oh, okay. Brendan, I think, is so attractive, but his vibe throws me off big time. He kind of has the curly hair and light eyes, and he showed up with a big yellow bow tie that looks like he was wearing his dad's suit. It was a very strange choice.
Okay.
But he I think is super cute, but his energy is like off to me. Oh, one of my faves, Jeremy, who's
oh yes, sorry, yes. Now I know who you're talking about. Nah, I don't like him.
I don't like him either, but I think he's super cute. Jeremy, the banker, one of my favorite lines. Always the guy who has a completely monotone voice is the one who's always just like, I just want you to know that I'm here to make you laugh, and I promise I'll do that, and walks away.
She's like, okay, psycho.
And I'm like, anytime someone promises to make me laugh, you will never make me laugh. And he legit said that.
That's like someone who says like, "Oh, I'm gonna make you come so hard."
Oh, God.
Sorry to make that crass reference, but it's very similar vibes.
He says that to you.
You're like, okay, so I can guarantee I'll never have an orgasm.
So 100% the orgasm isn't going to happen. Cool. It's a perfect reference or comparison. And then you know who I really liked a lot?
Who?
And my brain right away goes, oh, you're going to make it. I mean, if the season goes this far, you're going to for sure make it into top 6 and you'll be one of her favorites, but then you're going to get sent home because you're her friend.
Oh.
Is Blake, the Canadian Blake, Big Blake with the beard, who reached out to her before the season started. I loved his energy.
Yes.
He came out of the limo and he just was like smiling and happy, and he would have made me feel so comfortable right away.
Which, by the way, we got to talk about how when she sat him down, we'll just talk about it right now since we're on the topic. When she sat him down to talk to him about him reaching out, for one, he was quaking because she really played it up like she was like, how dare you disrespect the process?
Yes.
Like you thought that was about to go down.
Send me home.
For one, we get confirmation that she was not talking to Dale pre-filming. And I believe that.
I believe it too. You see it. You can see what happens. She did not talk to Dale.
And she makes a point of being like, yeah, you were the only one to reach out to me. And she said that meant so much to her to just check in on how she was doing. And so props to him.
Props to him.
I mean, what a move. And I bet his girlfriends back home are like, yes! They're like, we told you
Canada Blake. I'm going to call him Canada Blake.
Okay, because I love that.
Canada Blake, I love him. I like his energy a lot. He will thrive.
I thought he was going to be crazy.
Me too.
Did we say that on the? I don't remember.
No,
but like seeing him, I thought he was going to be crazy.
In the commercials, I was like, oh gosh, he's going to be like obsessed with. I mean, maybe he will be. We don't know. But in this episode, I'm like, I like him. I like his vibe. Also, okay. So should we talk about the Dale entrance?
Yeah, please, let's.
Dale is. I understand why when Claire saw him, she said, that's my husband, because I think all of us said that. The second we saw Dale, we were like, hello, this is my husband. Dale might be, I mean, this is a big statement. Dale might be the best looking guy I've ever seen on this show.
There's different types of hot I've seen, you know,
for sure.
like
I'm just talking. I am just talking from. Like, for me, there's an energy thing for me that makes someone sexy, but just purely, like, the way that Dale, like, looks is I'm, like, his actual, like, oh, my God. I
like his energy, too.
I really like his energy a lot, too.
He was cool
big
and
smile the whole time.
And
like, he felt so confident and comfortable
and warm too at the same time.
Oh, I was just like, yes, Claire, we all think he's our husband.
100%.
We all believe that he is stunning and smiley and like, oh my God.
Now this might be a little presumptuous of me, and I'm not trying to be rude in this assumption at all, but I might assume that Claire, just because she does have such a sexy, sensual vibe, she might be someone who gets a little, you know, like she might hook up with people every now and then. Like, yeah. And so this is my thought.
Okay.
Because of quarantine, she literally probably has not like kissed, hugged, hooked up with anyone. And I'm just saying that might be something that she does like a little more frequently, not in the COVID time. So now it's been
maybe
3 months. No, since February, because she doesn't want to fuck anything up for the Bachelorette.
Yep.
So it's been a solid 4 months of her having no, interactions. And so you better believe when Dale stepped out of that limo, she is like, my husband, AKA, let me rip off my clothes right now for you. That was her voice went up about 4 octaves.
Well, we saw a different vibe too. Confident Claire, her voice was shaking.
We saw Disney Princess, and then she put on this Disney Princess thing that she put on whenever she was around him of like, oh, hello, Dale. And she sort of like, when she walked, she tried to look like she weighed like 15 pounds.
She's
She's walking on the tiptoes, sort of like lingering with one of her legs and arms, like as she goes.
She was like, I mean, and she says, we hear her say that, well, first of all, she's breathless. She's my husband. She says,
what does she say yet?
No, she hugs him. He walks away. And the first thing she says is she goes, I knew it. I knew it. I knew this process would work for me this time around. And then she's like, I think I just met my husband.
Okay.
And then we have Clare. Okay. And then we have a pause break where Chris Harrison comes out and addresses it.
Before even that, she was like, I need a second.
I was like, is she about to have an orgasm? I mean, and I am like, yes, queen.
I mean,
go
she was like,
you have that orgasm, girl. Like, you do this thing.
Yeah, she's shaking. She's like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, literally about to climax.
It's like,
and also being like, the ghost of my father just visited me and told me he was the one.
100%.
She's experiencing all of this at once.
It's all happening at once for her. I have goosebumps thinking about that feeling. Like, oh my God, like just overcome.
So then, yeah, Chris comes out.
We've never seen this happen.
By the way, Chris is like, bitch, what in the heck?
He's just like, can you calm down for 2 seconds? You're not supposed to say that shit.
And right away, producers are like, trouble.
They're like, oh God, here we go. Here we go. So Chris Harrison comes out and has to address, and he has to say, Claire, I have to say, we've never had this happen before where someone actually sees this one specific person and says, I think I just saw my husband. And she's just like, yes, yes. And the second this happens, we all collectively know the men stand no chance. And
Not a single chance.
By the way,
she said, I've never felt anything like that.
In other seasons, we've seen Claire. She's all about, meeting the different men's, making out with the different men's. I think this was the least amount of kisses that has ever happened in a long time on night one.
Please correct me if I'm wrong. Did she only kiss Dale?
She kissed Canada Blake, too.
Okay, okay.
Canada Blake. But it was very,
I forgot
but he leaned in and it was very kind of, and she did a quick smooch.
We'll get to that. We will get to that.
But then the rest of the men come, and I do have to make a quick statement because I kept talking about Paige Presley beforehand because I was all hyped about having him on.
I told you.
Yeah, you were right. This is the thing. The mustache is too perfect. It's all, and then I'm a very auditory person, and I need a very specific voice, so it changed everything for me.
Yeah, I feel that. I totally feel that. It's okay. We forgive you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, can we just talk about her conversation then? With Dale?
because there's really 2 big things that happened. It's Dale and then Yosef and Garrett. So let's just focus on that.
Yes, which was terrible drama.
Stupid drama.
So first of all, I just died. I was trying to say died.
Died and Dale.
Okay, so I died when they're talking about, her mom. She's saying how hard it was for me. What's funny is like she's pulling the personal tragedy card to one of her
Dale,
men
because she so desperately wants him to be her husband right now.
Keyword, desperately. And I love Claire. Into her. Now, all right, came on a little strong there.
I was just like, dial it back, Claire.
I'm like, he's about to leave. Girl, he's about to leave. You're scaring him. Stop.
You're gonna back off. I was praying she wasn't going to give him the first impression rose because it was just all too much. I was just like, keep it cool. Give the first impression rose to Canada Blake. Make Dale play, like make him have to kind of work for it a little bit, please.
No, so she's like talking about her mom not being able to see her, and he's like, well, my sister, she's high risk, and she goes, you get it.
She literally yelled, you get it. We see each other. I knew this was gonna work. It was a lot. And you know how I get when I have to hide under a table or a couch because I get uncomfies and I have to cover my face. I had to cover my face a couple times because it was so intense that I was like, we have to remain calm right now, Claire. We have to remain calm.
Dale goes on to say, I'm an empath, which is always a red flag for me just in general when someone has to let someone else know that they're an empath. It's like, I'm sure I'll find that out as I get to know you. You don't need to tell me.
Even though I will say this, to Dale's credit, I don't think I've ever heard a guy on the show ever say that I'm an empath before.
That might be true.
Because I'm thinking as like,
I feel like that's something that like Luke P would have said randomly in the heat of the moment. Not the same context at all. No. I'm just saying, if anyone was to say it, probably would have been someone like that. Like, well, I'm an empath. The eyes not blinking. So Dale says, I'm an empath. Claire's like, oh, me too. Me too. We get it.
I'm just like, Claire, calm down. Stop. She's over the moon. She can't. And then her dogs come out, by the way. And I'm thinking, Claire, it's like she's obsessed with both of her dogs. And I didn't know if she was going to have this moment where all of a sudden the dogs came to Dale. And she was like, they know. But you don't see them interacting with Dale. You see them actually interacting. I think it's Canada Blake and Jason, who's just rubbing and scratching the pup. And I was just like, Claire is so over the moon with Dale that she's not even making note of the guys who are... the dogs are connecting with, and her dogs are her babies. So that to me, I'm like, wow.
Interesting, Professor Jess. Good analyses and observation.
Thank you. Also, I love Jason. That's the other guy who I love.
Who is that?
Jason's the one who he's from Long Island, and they're talking, and he's just like... And they have this great banter, and he's talking about, she's like how she likes the outdoors, and he's like, don't even put me in the indoors. Don't even put me in the indoors. And
I could not.
You didn't like Jason?
I couldn't handle it. Gave me anxiety. The whole conversation.
Oh my God. I thought they had such fun. And
he mentions a TV show. She's like, well, I didn't watch. I'm like, okay, you didn't watch TV ever. She's like, I was more of a tree climbing girl. And he's like, me too. I never watched TV either.
Don't even. He's like, she's the most beautiful woman aside from my mother. I love him. I will marry him round 2. But here's the thing. I love a Long Islander. So attracted to Long Islander jersey. Like the men, I'm just like, hello.
That would be... If you were with someone who was a Long Islander, you would start to have the accent too. And I think that just works. Honestly, it just works.
God, thank you so much. In my second marriage, I will definitely be with someone from the East.
Long Island accent.
I'm going to be with someone from the East Coast. I've already told Evan this.
And you're going to be like, well, I'm from... You're going to start saying that you were born in New Jersey.
Listen, my parents, they were my dad's family, they're from that side of the country anyway, so it's just part of the thing. Anyways,
yes.
I'm obsessed with him. Okay, so then Yosef and Claire... He immediately, when he's talking about his daughter with her, he screams to me like so many red flags. I'm just like, obviously, I'm not getting a good vibe.
Yes.
But then, of course, TC has to take it upon himself, the new Tyler C, that he's going and talking to the guys and telling them that Yosef has been reckless on Instagram. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what is he doing? Sending out dick pics like crazy? We find out that he says flirting with girls.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh.
What does that mean? Like liking an old photo? Like, when you say that, it's very ambiguous.
Even it's just like, let's just say he's sliding into a ton of girls' DMs. My thing is, do I like that energy with a guy? No. But there's not... Well, you can't say that he did anything wrong.
Yeah.
Was a single guy.
Yeah.
What is he supposed... I mean, I don't know. Like, not what is he supposed to do? He doesn't have to slide into the DMs. But like, whatever. And then Tyler goes from saying... Which is then when he's giving me major Garrett P energy where he's going around and telling the guys about it. And then TC pulls Yosef aside. And we find out, by the way, he was saying he's sliding into girls. He makes it plural. And then when he talks to Yosef, he's like, well, there's this one girl that contacted me.
But didn't he say that? I was confused about this.
Yeah.
Didn't the girl say that it was like a mass thing that he sent out?
She said, I think the vibe that I was getting is like the girl said it looked like, it seemed like it was like a general thing.
Okay. All right. Because I was like, was it one of those things where, have you ever had someone accidentally text you in like a group, like...
Oh, a group thing?
A massive thing. I don't know if that's only something that happens on the internet, but I've seen that before where someone is like,
hilarious.
Hey, how are you doing? And instead of sending it to like 10 individual people, send it in a group chat with like the 10 women.
We actually dared one of our dear friends, Harry, one night over drinks, and he lost the bet. So what we got to do is we got to take his phone and take 10 random girls from his phone and do a group text and say, hey, beautiful, want to meet up tonight? But it was a group message. One girl responded and said, what the fuck? We're bad friends.
You want to know something weird that... Okay, no, never mind. We don't have time. We'll talk about it later. So
he then... I do have to say, I appreciated the way that Yosef handled it.
Yeah.
He's handled it very calmly. This guy, night one, is pulling him aside, starting rumors kind of about him. And then, Yosef is like, I'm not here for the drama. So he just goes straight to Clare.
Yeah, everything stayed pretty cool.
And I think it's because he went straight to Clare, because I think it was a good move thinking, okay, if I stay here more than one night, this could escalate and all the guys could start a rumor. And then week 3, all of a sudden, Claire's hearing that all the guys think that Yosef is some, player online.
Right.
So then it was when she sat down. I love Clare. Let's just bring Tyler C over here. Grabs and sits him down and is just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just direct.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
also being pretty, like, you know how sometimes a lead will bring in 2 people or whatever, or talk to one person, and it's very clear that they've already believed one side as the truth?
Yes.
I felt like she didn't do that,
No.
which I gave her credit for.
No.
She was like really willing to hear what each person had to say.
And then I laughed because Tyler was like, then we end up finding out, he's like, well, it's like a friend of a friend who told me. So it's not even like one of his like friend. He's just coming in. He's just coming in trying to start drama.
I know. He thought he was coming hot out of the gate with some tea.
I'm like, you should know better, lawyer. You should have more evidence. You should have the receipts with you.
What kind of lawyer is he?
Come on. I don't know.
Like
A
car
shitty one?
accident injury lawyer.
But Yosef then is just like, I have more. She's like, did you do that? And Yosef is just like, I have more respect for myself, my daughter. I'm like, don't, please just say yes or no. Okay, it's just a yes or no question.
Stop throwing around your daughter.
Stop.
He probably never mind.
I love that. You keep going, nope, not gonna do it.
Not gonna go there. All right.
So, and then Claire says, is there a girl that's going to pull up that thinks she's your girlfriend? And he says no, which to me is foreshadowing, which makes me think 100% there's going to be
there's
someone.
a reason why he stayed and Tyler didn't.
There's going to be drama. Someone's going to show up. Or at least they are planning on someone
That would
showing
be
up.
hilarious.
I mean,
yeah, they're probably
but she can't get into the bubble. She's just yelling outside of La Quinta, I'm his girlfriend.
FaceTiming. Well, that's the thing. Now producers are going to contact probably every single woman on his following list on Instagram being like, has he reached out to you?
Of course.
I bet they probably will put someone on that job to literally reach out to every single female that he follows on Instagram.
Yes.
Wow.
Producers
the devil
work hard.
works hard. Yeah. The devil works hard.
Claire can't control herself and she gives the first impression rose to Dale, of course. And
I think he's scared.
I think so too. I am not getting mutual energy right now. I am getting...
I mean, he's honestly probably confused. Like, he's probably watched the show and he's like, he's probably been telling his friends there's going to be 30 other guys, but who knows? I might just shoot my shot. Like, let's see what happens. And then she's like, from the moment we locked eyes.
Yeah. And when
I've been praying for you since I was a little girl.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I totally agree with you. I don't get any of like, oh, he's here for the wrong reason, so he's not fully there. I'm getting like, it's like night 1. And because the exchange, she puts the rose on him and then pulls him and kisses him on the cheek and then tries to pull him back in for the kiss. It's an awkward exchange. And then he says, and then he's sweet because he tries to like then make it not awkward for her.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. And then he tries to make it not awkward for her and then goes like, no, I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous. And then they kiss. But it was not like, it did not feel like organic. She pulled, like, it was like...
I mean, they made out.
And it looked like it was a great kiss. But the initiation of it makes me go, is she going to come in way too hot?
I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe Dale is a man all about consent. So maybe he really wanted to make sure.
Just triple check. Maybe.
Yeah, I always say a girl has to pull me in twice before going for it, just to make sure she really wants it,
Mm-hmm.
That's maybe his... Yeah, I don't know. He seems a little shell-shocked.
Well, there were numerous guys who never got to talk to Claire, like DeMar, Kenny, Zach.
I was just going to say one more thing. It's edited, so it makes you wonder, was she trying to talk to Dale for... It could have been like 30 minutes both times.
That's very true.
Like, she could have been like, I want to talk. I mean, she came and pulled it. It was for the first impression rose, but nevertheless.
It was the typical long night because when we saw Paige exit at the end, it was blinding, burning bright outside. It was probably already 111 degrees.
Which I told Gray that because we were seeing all these guys with their shirts off, like in the intros. And I was like, Gray, you got to understand, give these guys a break.
Yeah.
Like... I know you're going to be like, oh, douchey guys without their shirts on.
This isn't a Colton shower scene times 5,000 where you're like, all right, can you please stop?
No, this is 120 degree weather.
So hot outside.
Yeah.
Literally probably 115.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell.
Well, they have the rose ceremony. Canada Blake gets the first rose. And then Kenny ends up getting a rose, by the way, which I was the whole time like looking to see if he was actually wearing like the Glossier blush cloud paint because it looked like he was.
Go use our code.
Go use our code. Yosef ends up staying. So sent home was Tyler C., Chris, AJ, who grabbed her hands too hard and gave me major creepy vibes.
Yes, very creepy. We forgot to mention that, but she was like, I have indents like in my hands.
Yes.
And with my rings.
She was literally shaking her hands. It was too much. And his energy, he's like, my friends say I give a bad first impression. He's squeezing the life out of her hands.
Her fingertips are turning purple.
She's just like, no, I don't know what they're talking about. Fuck.
So weird, dude. So weird.
So weird. Also, Mike with the flip-flops went home. The guy that you liked.
I thought it was a good shtick. It was cute.
Jordan, I think, went home. Paige went home. Yeah. But then we see a clip. We're seeing clips from this next coming week. We're seeing nude men. We're seeing a lot of Jason and Blake and Easy and Dale. Those are the 4 guys that I noticed that we're seeing a lot of.
So what does it look like? 15 of them leave? Like, it looks like half of the guys are threatening to leave or something?
This is my guess.
Okay.
We're going to have a Caitlin Bristow type situation. I think Claire and Dale are going to have sex next episode.
Shut the fuck up.
I think that she has the first date with him. I think they have sex. And I think the guys then are irritated. So now they're on a hunt. Like, they're going to try to find out anything about Dale, call him out. Because now we're seeing the men being like, she doesn't know. She thinks she knows Dale. She doesn't know Dale.
It won't be
blah,
week
blah,
2.
blah,
It'll
blah.
be week 3 or 4.
Okay.
Which brings me to a bigger thing.
I'm just like, week 2.
How many? Well, look, we thought this thing was going to be over week 1.
True.
So how many episodes? Let's try to predict right now. How many episodes do you think we will have of Claire?
I have a feeling in my bones. I just have this.
That it's going to be like 10.
I think we are going to get 6 episodes of Claire. And I don't know what the remaining few weeks are going to be, but I don't know what the Tayshia piece is going to look like. I'm feeling very now thinking that they were fucking with us to a certain degree.
I think we will get 3.5.
3.5. Oh, okay.
I think that the 4th episode will be a transitional episode where we're wrapping things up with Claire and we're entering into something else.
Then what do you think? How many with Tayshia?
Like 8.
Is that how many episodes there are?
No, there's normally like 10 or... Yeah, there's normally like 10 or 11, including Men Tell All and After the Final Rose. But we don't know if we're going to get that now.
That's true.
With COVID. So that's why I think they could get
call.
away with doing like 7 or 8 of Tayshia.
True. We'll see. I mean, what I'm the most curious about is when we're seeing Claire screaming, sick. Like, is she talking? Like,
She's talking about COVID.
She's sick. She is sick.
Sick. For a second,
I was just like, oh my God, wait, what? No, what my mind is now bendy about. I'm not even like the Tayshia thing is. I'm like, oh my God, what's that gonna happen? But what after this episode, I couldn't stop thinking about was we have this narrative that Claire and Dale fell in love and ran away together, or are getting married or whatever. What if Claire absolutely fell in love with Dale? Dale breaks her heart. And then she's like, I'm not going to interact. Like, she refuses. What if Dale decides to leave? Or Dale's like, it's too much. It's too much. It's coming too quick. Or something happens and he decides to leave. And maybe Claire is like, I am not going to be, I will. And she's refusing to come out of her room because she's like, I will not get to know the other men. And Chris Harrison's just like, you're breaking the Bachelorette. Like, like, what's going on? because the yelling, it didn't make it feel, unless like, of course they're obviously painting something for us, but it didn't feel like romantic. And like I said, it sounded like Dale's voice. I'm part of me now. It's like I was convinced that it was Dale and Clare forever, and we were going to maybe see a wedding or whatever. But now part of me thinks, are they not together? And she was just heartbroken, and so she was like, "I'm out. I'm done filming this."
Or maybe she's pulling a Colton, and she has to go after Dale.
Maybe. I don't know, because
I don't think Dale would say something like that, though.
It doesn't make sense to me either.
Like, he doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
No, but that was the thing. I kept pausing because I was like, "Who is this guy?" Jesus. But it sounded like him, and I sure hope we get the love story, because I'm loving Dale's vibe so far. But I'm playing the devil's advocate here. Hearing that. That's what I'm saying. Like, what? But they're making it look so ominous, where the guys are like, "She doesn't know Dale like we do," and it's just like, what? And I think that that's just the guys being jealous.
Yeah, I think so too.
It sounded like his voice, and I can't get over that. And then when I paused it, I was like, who else could this be? Like the frame, I don't know.
Is it possible that that was a voiceover with showing Clare in it?
Totally.
And what if that clip... And now I'm really jumping off a bridge here with this one. But like, what if that clip is like from a joking one? Like, or like, what if it's referencing something else instead of just being like, oh, I expected more from the 40-year-old bachelorette? Like, maybe it was just like,
but it was like yelling it. Kind of.
Yeah, I guess so.
But what if it's...
Yeah, it was yelling it, because I was thinking, like, what if they were saying something like, I thought there was going to be a lot of drama. Like, I would expect more from a...
I will say this. There's another guy, now I'm blanking on his name, that has a very similar voice to Dale, that I'm like, oh, maybe it's...
oldest bachelorette. Yeah, I can't see Dale insulting her for being old.
I know. I just couldn't figure out, like, what I did is I was listening to their interaction when she gave him the first impression rose, and then fast forwarded to that, and I was like,
fairly generic voice. It's not like a super...
No, so it could have been one of the other guys. I don't know.
I'm interested to see what the broads have to say about that.
Yeah, I know. I'm really hoping it's not, because so far, I am into dreamy Dale.
Love it. And I want her to have her happy.
I
think we all do.
I want her and Dale. I want it to work, and for them to fall in love, and like for it to be like this quick, beautiful success story. Also, we then see what looks like Tayshia's going to be coming out of the limo, and Kenny being like, "What? Do we just get a new bachelorette?" And then we see the limo pull up, and it's like, is it going to be Tayshia? I don't know. I'm just questioning everything now.
Well, I can't wait for next week to see how it all plays out.
I cannot wait for next week.
Should we think up some sort of bet about whoever gets closer to the number of episodes?
Oh, yeah.
Think of it.
Cold hard cash, baby. We'll think of it. Well, broads, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back with another recap next Wednesday. But in the meantime, on Friday, we have an amazing episode coming out. Like we said, it's going to be so funny. And then we have a few other episodes coming out. One where we're talking about foster care. That's going to be really exciting. Also,
next week.
This has been a long time coming, and it's due to... certain cancellations and then retries and whatever. We've been wanting to have this anti-racism episode.
Oh, yeah.
And then Becca had a great idea, and we were talking about, we have some guests, but we also would love to hear from some of you all. Like, this is the Broad Squad. We want to hear from you. So if you are comfortable...
Well, specifically, I know we have so many broads that have different niches and personal hobbies and stuff. And if you specifically do... or like are proficient on like the technicals of like anti-racism work or steps, all that kind of thing, please reach out via email, because we would love to have you on. Or if you specifically would like to talk about, I mean, this is all completely voluntary. Please.
Yes.
Please reach out to us, and we'd love to chat about having you on.
We would love to chat. We have some great guests for that episode, but we also would love to hear from you all if that's an option, because you're fam, and we want to have... if that's an option, some of the broads talking to the broads about this topic that we need to.
We'd also like to have some sort of a panel too, which was Jess's idea, so that we sort of hear a variety of maybe different experiences or perspectives. Because there's a lot of different, it's not like there's a one size fits all answer to how to approach dismantling your implicit bias and all those other different things. So
So yeah.
Reach
Anywho,
out.
reach out.
chattybroads@gmail.com.
Yes. Reach out.
chattybroads@gmail.com.
Yes. And with that,
Chat soon.
back into the Bachelorette broads. Chat soon.